On this episode of GrassRoots Garage, we catch up with Stuart Jones, owner of Steadfast Garage. We've done plenty of episodes with Stewie, and in the background of many of the shots was this old Soarer.
And he loves dealing with massive, dirty big fibres. And he needs like a minute from.
That's right. He doesn't need terribly long to
That's all. We're down at Steadfast Garage. Stewie's been busy. He's going to show us what's been happening with the Soarer.
Progress.
Let's go check it out. Let's do it. Take me outside. Except, what's that?
What's that?
What's that on the floor there?
Oh, hello.
Very nice. And please make note of that beautiful little LS Turbo Corolla there. That's Brody's little weapon roller.
Okay, so we got rid of all those, deleted all the airbags out of the car.
Yeah.
Some coilovers in there. Now we can actually get a jack under it.
There it is, huh?
Yeah. Check it out.
The radiator will sit like pretty much on top of that support.
Yeah, in line with these bolts here.
Yeah.
So all that room we thought we had is slowly getting eaten up, especially considering the size of said turbo.
So, and you're going to work out how the headers are going to come around.
I've got the headers sorted. They'll be basically facing forward up here, because then that will clear power steering and alternator down here. And then obviously because this side's busier with accessories, we're going to sneak the exhaust out that way. So the turbo will either have to face sideways this way or
somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in this general vicinity. But looking at the engine bay now, you're like, oh, there's a heap of room.
Yeah.
Once you start slipping that big thing in there and all the associated pipe work, it's going to get real cozy.
Yeah, and I think the problem is, like, usually you just shove them right up here in this bay, but because it's got a high chassis rail and the bonnet of the car really dips off,
doesn't it? Yeah.
I can't actually stick it up in there.
No.
Unless I start gouging into stuff.
There's always the boot option.
Yes, could do the boot.
Always the boot option.
I don't know, I just always like seeing the pipes.
Everything under the bonnet, I do too. Yeah.
It's too hidden.
You'll make it work. You'll make it work.
I'm sure I will.
If only there was a fabricator who was
Mate.
good at working with steel who could make it happen.
You know.
Pretend I know nothing about cars.
Okay.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a 1995 Toyota or Lexus Soarer, SC400, whatever you want to. Depends who you talk to, what badge is stuck on it.
Yeah. So this is factory V8s?
Factory, 4-litre V8, so the 1UZ or Lexus V8. Or they do come out with a 1J.
Yeah, nice.
Twin turbo 1J.
Okay. So let's look at your 1UZ.
Yes.
Hello. Some nice fabrication work, man.
Thank you.
Very nice.
It's a bit dirty at the moment because it was a long drive and we've had a couple goes at it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when you do something that's a bit trial and error, and there was a different cooling system in it, and originally it was just a stock 5.7, and we hurt that, had an oil pressure problem, so ended up getting a 5.3 Vortec truck motor, and then as things snowball as they do, it went to just gap the rings and put it in, and then it had pitting in the bore, so we had to bore it. So it's like, I have to buy pistons, I'll just put forged pistons in it, and then it was rods, then it's balanced, so now it's built motor and everything. And then when I got that going, it was getting a bit hot because the radiator used to be up here and it was too close to the turbo. It was getting heat soak, and plus fans work better when they draw from the back.
Really?
Yeah, when they suck.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So when it was forward, it would push. And then the other thing about that is I had a big gap between the water to air heat exchanger and the radiator. So now I'm able to get it close. I've got to get some foam to put between the two so the air goes through them both. But yeah, upgraded that while I was at it.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's still 5.7 litres, but it's in the iron block, which is a 5.3 block.
Iron block being stronger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Haltech Elite 2500. It's got the flex fuel sensor, so we can run dual fuels. Pump an E85. It's got a Borg Warner billet wheeled S480 turbo, 60mm gate, watered air intercooler. Yeah.
Let's have a quick look at this power glide.
Oh, not that you'll see it.
There it is.
Yeah, that's just the shifter. Yeah.
Okay, so being power glides, what, like basically bulletproof?
Oh, well, this one's a built one, so it's got the billet input shaft and all the good... I don't know a great deal about autos, but I paid someone money to build it, and they said it's got everything that you can do to a power glide, bar put it in a aftermarket case.
Okay.
So, but he said for the power I'm looking at, I won't break it. And the other thing that breaks stuff is when, you know, it's got trans brake and everything as well. But usually what breaks stuff is when you release the trans brake and you actually get traction, and it's all that load instantly getting put onto something.
You're just going to be frying.
Oh yeah, so the weakest link on this car is definitely going to be the tyres, and then the diff and the CVs. So hopefully motor and gearbox will outlast everything else.
Nice.
Well, that's the plan.
That's the plan, man. So all this... So tell me what is Steadfast Garage work? Exhaust?
Everything. So basically everything from mounted the engine, made the engine mounts, made the gearbox cross member, had to modify the tunnel to fit the auto. Then you've got forward facing stainless steel turbo manifolds. I mounted the coils up on the firewall. All the fuel lines, if you can see the regs, it's all hard lined.
You love a bit of hard line, eh?
Love hard line. It's because I'm cheap. These are heaps cheaper than fittings. And I like the look of it.
Yeah.
You know, I had to lose the ABS. Got the
ABS delete. Is that easy, hard?
Oh, you just yeah. Well, most of the harness has been deleted, so that wasn't going to work even if it was hooked up. So yeah, it was easy to delete. It was just remaking the steel brake lines.
Okay.
And it's got the JZA80 twin turbo front brakes, so the 330mm brakes, 4-piston calipers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was all pretty. They just bolted on, so that's
brakes, man.
Yeah.
They're a real forgotten car, eh? The Soarers.
Yeah, it's like the luxury Supra, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are heavy. Everything I've pulled heaps of weight out of the car just in electrical stuff. The everything was electric. Seats, the column tilt, just there was wires everywhere.
Okay. Beautiful, man.
Yeah. So
I don't think I've ever seen. This is just to give it a bit of flex.
This bellows, so it's a flex joint.
Do I not see them because they're hidden, or people just don't bother with them?
Well, usually I guess your exhaust's running down and out the back of the car, so it's either under the car or.
Yeah.
The reason for that is stainless steel, when it heats and it contracts and shrinks and prone to cracking as it does that heating up and cooling down. So you need to let it expand naturally and shrink. And also you got to think that, you know, if I made it and this was all just one Y and it was solid, if I ever machined the heads or put different gaskets on it or anything like that, all of a sudden my V-bands wouldn't line up.
Okay.
So it just gives you a little bit of play, but also it's mainly just to stop any cracking in the exhaust.
Future-proofed it.
Yeah, and obviously this is only thin wall exhaust tubing, so we couldn't allow the weight of the turbo to be hanging off it.
Yeah.
So if you have a look over here, we've got a chromoly tubular brace made up, which actually mounts to the turbo flange.
This is you?
Yeah, I made all that. And then, so the turbo is 100% supported. So if I disconnect the exhaust totally, the turbo just will still sit there floating there in midair.
Big turbo, man.
Yeah, so it's a
motor, isn't it?
well, yeah, 5.7. There's bigger, but it's a 1.32 rear exhaust housing, and I think they're about an 82, 84 mil wheel.
Okay.
Billet front wheel.
And then when you say 1.32, it's funny because a lot of the 13B guys are talking about going up to a 1, right?
Yeah, 1, something like
for a 13B, which is so.
But
this
which
is still up early, yeah?
Oh well, when you think about it, that's actually super impressive for a 1300cc engine. You've got to remember this is like 5.7 litres, like 5700 cc's, and it's only a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And you know, in my head, I thought, oh, it might be a bit lazy, but honestly, it feels like the gate just. You jump on it and the gate's open, like it's on boost really good. I mean, the fact that it's a $3,000 stall helps with that as well.
Nice, angry. Talk me through this water to air intercooler.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Why water to air?
Okay, so the good thing about a water to air intercooler is, say I've got a front mount, they're incredibly efficient when you're driving. The problem is you pull up a set of lights or you're at the starting line at the track and it's getting heat soaked, no airflow, so your temperature's rising. So on a cold night you could see 0 degrees inlet air temps or close to it, a cold winter's night going into your engine when you're on doing freeway runs. But the problem is on a hot summer's day and you're in standstill traffic, you know, you're getting up 70, 80 degrees maybe. So the engine or the ECU has this huge tuning range that it has to use the air temp correction to adjust your fuel map. So, you know, basically the idea of doing a water to air intercooler is they're much more stable. So basically it might only have a 10 or 15 degree fluctuation in temperature rather than 60.
Okay.
And you know, the good thing about when I made the can for the water is, you know, on street duties, it's just got tap water in it. That's it.
Yeah.
But a little bung in it. Go to the track. I tried to get the biggest threaded cap I could. Just tip a bag of ice in there,
Boom.
and then that way you just. So when you're at the track, you got it real cold.
And you can even then just like drop a bag of ice on top as well while you're sitting around doing nothing, and then pull the ice off.
Yeah. Well, they reckon that melting water is actually colder than actual just ice, so so if you just empty half out and just top it up before you go out every pass, it's going to be cooler. But I mean, already as it is with just straight tap water and, you know, maybe a 28 degree day, I'm seeing 40 degree, 38 degree inlet air temps, and that's in traffic. That's not like freeway running. So and you know, the other problem that with Soarers, kind of like RX-7s, they're a very pointy front, so they don't have huge air going in the front of them. So might have to end up with ducting and all that sort of stuff to just try and improve that a little bit.
Get the airflow going.
Not that it's getting hot, but you know,
bad boys out, mate.
They're
begging to be cut out.
Yeah, we had to sacrifice, because that's usually the high beam, but the that high beam was going to hit my heat exchanger, so for the sake of performance we sacrificed the high beam.
After maxing out the dyno with over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque on only 15 psi, Stewie is more than ready for Queensland power cruising.